And well, they are opting for a bit more defense, which is kind of understandable looking how the last map went around. And it's going to be Arena. Well. That's probably going to be a bit longer, as we are probably going to be seeing at least castle ages from all 4 players in here, as it's kind of expected. And looking at the civilizations, for example, we have Ovenka's Huns, Yannick is Japanese, and against them we have 2007 as Britons, and Binka's Teutons. So yet again, quite unexpected civilizations in here, which is very nice to see, as it's not going to be all the same that we are seeing in all the tournaments. Bit of a gold for yellow behind his base, so that's pretty nice for him to see, with stone and gold quite close by. Well, it's kind of between him and his opponent, so it's potentially going to be a bit harder for him to defend, but not really anything bad, but oh, literally a ton of mines in here. Triple gold and double stone, so that's, yeah, that's pretty nice for both of them, and we'll probably be seeing a bit of a fighting for that, so let's see who's going to be more successful. Behind the base of the grey player, we don't see anything interesting, just a bit of gold, but he needs to finish the wall in. It's kind of unfortunate spawn, and really curious spawn of Arena overall. We don't really see that being open on the left all that much usually. And extra gold and inside his base, both the bars, so not any kind of problem for either of the players. Decently positioned gold at least, the stone not all that much, that could be raidable by some archers and maybe even some aggressive castle drop, but otherwise really pretty much okay and not anything that he should be unhappy about. Well, it's not like really Caesars needed this help, but once his opponent has actually one relic inside his base, yeah, that's some kind of compensation to be having just just outside of your gate, so that's pretty nice bonus, and definitely something that Yannick will be very happy about. Inside his base he's having double gold, very nice for him. Nothing on the left side, but in the forefront a bit of a hunt with the deers and the boars in pretty much reasonable position inside the home base, so not any kind of problem for him either. Yeah, just getting rid of the wall, as it's literally useless for him, but otherwise he's going to be scouted by Bing just about now, so he sees as a Teutons that he's going to be against Japanese, which is slightly unfortunate. Not exactly sure right about now if Teutonic Knights are going to be faster or rather better than Samurais, but I would be really thinking that Samurais are better because of their faster attack and the bonus against unique units, of course. So yep, that's probably not a good matchup that the red player will be all that happy about. Second stone inside the home base for him, so that's at least some bonus for the red player with extra gold as well. So that's a pretty decent spawn for all the players overall, and double bar inside the base as well, so not really any kind of shenanigan of having to delete some of the wall, build in some palisade or a house in its place, and looking like pretty nice start for all 4 players. Another relic in here with extra gold and gold between him and his ally at the top. It should be reasonably easy for them to wall right about here, providing pretty safe and secure trade route for them and solving basically the problem for the grey player in here quite easily. Yeah, really, it's not going to be all that hard for them to wall, maybe even using the wood line at the bottom of this original idea that I was having in here. So we can see that Ovenka is in the meantime milling. There's not going to be all that much happening for the next minutes, unfortunately, as we are on Arena. So until players advance through Castle Age, let's just have a look around, count the VDs, and yep, bit of a luring of the boar inside the home base under the TC, so that he has as optimal build as can be. Just about going to be finishing with the boar. Maybe wanted to actually kill it under TC, but it's really going to be just a few seconds, and it's most probably not going to be managed, or rather mattering all that much in the matchup that we are having right about now. So having a bit of a look at the back, it seems that he hasn't scouted yet, yes, but unfortunately there's just one lone wolfie guarding this part of the clearing of the woods. That's pretty much it, and has he already scouted the forefront? Not much. He knows that the grey opponent is right across the alley with some extra gold and some stone, but he doesn't know about the extra gold mines in there. There are actually 2 extras, and that definitely puts him in slight disadvantage that he doesn't know about it, because if he knew, he would be just going all that much more in the offensive in there, but he's probably going to go for that anyway. So yeah, I don't really expect it's going to be mattering all that much for the game to come. It's going to be a lot harder for CZs to wall, as opposed to easy wall at the top for the Reds. But still shouldn't really be all that hard, considering that they are probably going to be the ones to apply pressure on their opponents. And looking at the amount of Willies so far, everyone at 21, just 2007 being one less. But it doesn't really matter all that much. And you can see that blue is actually quite going risky for this. You can see that that almost seemed like actually a help. Because red was going for a bit of a scouting, but in the process he actually lured a bit of the deer inside the blue's base, which is exactly what blue was doing. So that was, yeah, a bit of a neighborhood watch help in here, which definitely is something that Yannick might be quite happy about, but let's see. Now it might make a bit harder to lure the second deer in, as this one is going to be slowly moving backwards into the original position. But yeah, really, he's kinda confident, deleting the wall next to his opponent and hoping that he can plug it with maybe barracks, I would be thinking, since it's pretty big hole. Not exactly sure if it's because there was a gate, I don't really remember that, but it kinda makes sense, as otherwise, why make such a big hole inside your own walling? First feudal ages are going to be from Bing and Ovenka, so that's Huns and Teutons. Looking at a pretty good economy from the yellow player with double lumber camp already. And looking at the number of villages, we see that Ovenka is advancing with 25 as Huns, with red Bing as Teutons advancing at just 24. Whereas Yannick is going to be moving a bit more into the fast castle with the Britons 2007 advancing with 26. So yeah, Yannick is most definitely going for it quite greedily and confidently. So let's see if he's going to be paying for that or if he's going to be just winning as we could be maybe expecting in this game. So plug in the hall with 2 houses, clicking into feudal age with 29 villas, which is kinda usual for a bit boomier game from him. And we see market being dropped for the red player with few idlers along the way at the top, but not really for much longer, with the blacksmith also being dropped, as of course everybody will be just hurrying into the castle age. For the grey base, for example, we are seeing something interesting, not that much. You can see that he hasn't lured the deer closer to the mill as the blue player has. So that's going to be a bit more seconds for the walking time of those fillies, and otherwise double lumber camp as well, with mining camp at pretty much the same spot, and maybe even going for the stone in a reasonable time quite soon. As he could be expecting that the Briton will be aiming for the longbowman sooner rather than later. Ovenka also going for market, so is that going to be some kind of double sling? Probably not. But you can see oh, yeah, that Yannick is already messaging his ally that he's going to be going for fast scorpions, for with scorpions. So let's see, it's going to be something pretty unusual and new, which I haven't really seen all that much. You don't really see scorpions used all that often, as they are not really all that effective. So let's see if that's going to be something to make this game memorable for all of us. In the meantime, yellow has been attacked by the red scout, which has been basically the only action in the early game, besides some deer hunting and such. Going right now saying that Yannick's opponent is on the gold. Yeah, he has scouted exactly this. And with the castle age being the fastest for Bing, well, let's see if we can make something happen. He's going to be Teuton, so I might be expecting a bit of a castle drop, but is he actually gathering the stone? No, he isn't. So that's not going to be anything like that, basically standard build up from himself. But since he doesn't have anything at all for military, I'm not exactly sure what's going to be the plan in here. I'm just going to check and make sure that there is no sling. Yeah, there isn't. It wouldn't really make all that much of a sense, since everybody's advancing into the castle age. So what's it going to be right about now with the faster castle ages from the red clan? Monastery times 2. Okay, so that's going to be a bit of a monk rush probably. Going of course for the relics and maybe even hoping that he can get the double at the bottom. Let's see if he even knows about that. Yeah, Yannick just saying that his opponent is most probably going monks, as he has scouted quite nicely, and yes, he knows. He knows about the relics in here, so he's quite probably going to be stealing it, or at least attempting to do so, which might not be all that easy if the scouts are still alive for their opponents. Well, this blue should be winning. Yeah, he most definitely is, with Siege Workshop being built as well. So that's going to be probably some rams together with the monks, and let's see how successful is that going to be. Yeah, already monks in. Going to be, of course, pretty hard to convert any scout cavalry. And let's have a look in the meantime on the right side, where not much is really happening in here, as the grey player is dropping another town center, of course, for a boom that you would be expecting in. Still not really finishing with the wall in. Not in the top and in here. So yep, that's going to be pretty difficult. And of course, the monks are already getting the rigs and getting up in numbers. So Yannick is already asking his ally for a bit more scouting cavalry help, as they are of course pretty good counters on these dudes. But looking how it's going to be pretty tough to get through the walls before Mongols come in, which are going to be coming in just about now. Yeah, it might be a bit of a moment for Reds to make something happen, because if they can't, Yannick is already advancing to Imperial Age. Yeah, there's most probably not going to be any sling from either of the teams. And is he going to be building what? Each workshop dropped for him ×2, so that's really going to be the Scorpions, as he was saying, and that's going to be a pretty interesting matchup against the Mangonels and the Priests. So let's see who's going to be more successful. Looking at, for example, the yellow player, who is having 3 TCs right about now, and Yannick is asking for a bit of help. But since he doesn't have anything, yeah, that's not going to be all that effective, obviously, as with nothing to help with, yeah, that's going to be a bit tough. But they are probably going to be trying to prevent this. Okay, so that's one monk dead. And if blue is careful, they might be able to kill even the scout cavalry in here. But really, that's not going to be all that easy. And with the Mangonel trying to get rid of the market, and he's even converting. Ah, he's most definitely converting the building, isn't he? Yes, gone for redemption. And going for sanctity as well, so he's definitely... Oh yeah! Oh well, this is probably the first time I've seen this in artistic streamings. Converting buildings, actually. So that's really happening in here. And he's going to be stealing even the market, oh my. Oh, this is too funny. This is too funny and too unexpected. Let's see if actually Yannick is going to be able to deal with this. I am really confident that he should. Right now the market has been converted. So that could be deleted as well. Yeah, and he can be getting through if he wasn't in place in here. And he's probably going to be trying to steal the siege workshop. He definitely should. And if Yannick isn't careful enough, he might actually be losing some scorpions in there. So let's see. He's at least having 2 hidden in there with 1 hidden at the bottom. And let's see if he can convert it. Oh man. Yeah, some conversions have been happening in here. Trying to convert at least the scout cavalry in the meantime. And since nothing is really happening on the right side, we are probably going to be sticking with the action in here. And yes, he is trying to steal it right about now. And the stolen house actually is a pretty big problem, as you can see, for Yannick, as he wasn't counting with anything like that. And scorpions are being out, and with the Mangonel unfortunately being in here as well. Yeah, that's going to be kinda tough. And so a lot of conversions going on with the scorpions, and it's looking like that Yannick might be having a bit of a problem in here, as obviously he's losing all the army, and he's going to be quite probably losing even the military buildings, which I'm kinda curious why Red Wing isn't taken, as obviously that could be a pretty good defense for himself. Yeah, right now getting rid of that Mangonel, that was nicely played by the blue player. But yeah, he needs to get rid of this Mangonel, quite hopefully. Stealing for himself, let's see. It's going to be pretty tough, as the range of the Mangonels, or of course the attack, is going to be killing them quite fast. And looking at the number of Mangonels getting out of all these siege workshops for the blue player, well, Red, you have to really hurry up if you want to do something about these problems that are cropping up in your base. Rather in the base of your opponent. So that's really unusual play. In the meantime, let's check right quickly what's happening somewhere else. We can see that Yellow is just quite nicely booming, switching into Siege Workshop and having what? Having Battering Ram and attempting to prepare with a few archer range guys with elite skirmishers, and skirmishers to the left seems like to defend against all those priests and of course against also mangonels and literally anything that his opponent can be doing against him. So attempting to take down the TC of Yannick. Let's see. With the defensive mangonel in here. Oh, yeah, I was going to say that actually Blue might be losing the TC, but with all those villagers getting rid of all the damage that is being dealt, he definitely should be using all those monks to convert the villagers in here. That would be helping him quite a lot and making life very, very difficult for the blue player. So let's see how this is going to develop. It almost seems like that TC is going to be lost. Even though this is going to take out both of them. But really, he should be converting all those fillies from the blue player. And pretty good ejection. And that's quite costly right about now to the red player. And that went nicely. Yeah, he was probably ready from the previous mangonel or something. So he was already quite nicely converted up, or how to say it. So that was very fast conversion of this mangonel, to be honest. And let's see if he still can make something happen, because he is having enough priests for conversions of literally any villager that is right now coming up. And that's slightly a shame that he isn't using that. Fortunately, on the right side, it seems like that he might need to hurry up, as Ovenka is ready for a full-on attack on his opponent, so he's not even going to be helping into Yannick. And with all the skirmishers and the battering rams, he will be trying to breach into his opponent's base. So far we see some booming from the grey player, as he has already walled himself in with the houses. And even though he is right now arriving with the research of Pellet Archer armor, he is just now going for barracks. So that's most definitely going to be quite late, and oh well. With the absolutely obvious choice that the Britons is going to be making any kind of archers that he can. Yep, well, that is going to be happening just about quite soon, as those skirmishers are going to be getting rid of them quite soon. So in here, we are seeing that Yannick is really having quite a difficult time defending against all this, as the red player has been able to convert extra mangonels in here. And switching into Yannick, he's still having a pretty decent amount of resources, but has he actually lost another guy? No, he has converted. Oh well, he has lost the villager. Finally, that is doing what I was talking about a bit earlier, and trying to steal the villages, which is exactly very important. And he should be converting both of these, I fully expect. Yeah, one of them gone. Oh, that's going to be terrible in here. And yeah, that was a pretty good shot by the mangonel, which he needs to somehow convert, but yeah, it doesn't seem to be happening, and he really needs to be careful about the positioning of all those priests at one shot, or rather one spot for one shot, one kill of the mangonels. In the meantime, yellow has broken through into purple's base, or purple, grey's base, and it's really leveling all the economy and the town center pretty soon as well. And even though grey is pretty nicely boomed at 93 villies, Ovenka is at 112, it's most probably not going to matter all that much, because the armies are not present for the grey player, which means that yellow is going to be slaughtering absolutely everything. You can see that grey is having something. We'll be seeing quite soon what it is. Yeah, a few pikemen, literally a few, which is not going to be good enough, not even against the skirmishers, which are not really having a huge attack, but nicely upgraded, 3+4 right about now. They are still going to be strong enough to deal with most everything that his opponent is doing. Castle being dropped though at the end of his base, so there's still going to be a bit of an opposition, and we could be expecting some longbowmen coming up, but looking at the amount of skirmishers and of course the siege rams, that's not the correct unit that should be winning the battle overall for him. Switching back to the left battlefield, Yannick is not really moving anywhere, but he also isn't getting killed all that much. TC is still standing, and we are basically just waiting for the red player to get rid of that. And even though Yannick is in Imperial Age for quite some time already, for like, I don't know, at least 10 minutes I think, maybe 7, 8, I don't know, but for quite a long time, he hasn't really done anything yet. And let's see, that's going to be an attempt at stealing the mangonel, and let's see if he gets lucky. One dead, and yes, he has stolen it. Quite nicely played, and also quite another problem for him, because as you can see, the red player has actually stolen Siege Workshop from him. So, yeah, you can see that the blue player is left with just one, and it's going to be attempted to be stolen just about now. And since he isn't building an extra army right about now, and Mangonel, it almost seems like that it's going to be stolen as well. This is so funny. This is really something I haven't seen yet in RTS League, I think. If I remember correctly, I really haven't, and it almost looking like that blue is going to be attempting exactly the same as his opponent and trying to steal a bit back, but it's going to be really tough, as Mangonels and the priests are in pretty big numbers, and with some good shots, it's going to be pretty easy for the red player to deal with this as well. Oh well, yeah, that sucked. He was almost ready to get rid of the Mangonel, to convert it for himself, but he fell right to the priest of his opponent. And well, on the other side, yeah, we can see that the castle has been dropped as we have expected, and well, we can see that red is going to be pretty much slaughtered, it seems like, as building crossbowman is unfortunately not going to work all that much against the direct counter of skirmishers and the help from siege rams, so it's unfortunately probably going to be just a question of time before the grey player is going to be basically leveled altogether, because he's not even retreating. And yellow is going for a bit of help to the bottom, finally to rescue his ally, blue player. Arbalest, so that's... let's just not call it a game yet in here. Maybe Ovenka might have just underestimated position, because with the extra fire from the TC and the release, he might be good enough, even with the Arbalest, to get rid of the elite skirmishers, because you mustn't forget that elite skirmishers are basically Castle Age unit, whereas Arbalests are of course Imperial Age, which means that they are still going to be pretty strong. Let's see how much of a damage can Red still do. He's still at 37 villages, which is not really a whole lot, but it is something that he can come back from. And since the Teutons are doing a pretty good job in the blue's base, well, let's see if yellow is going to be arriving or just scouting in the middle in here, not really doing anything substantial all that much. Continuing with some extra archer ranges. And here we see a bit of an extra conversion of the villages and trying to steal all the economy. And finally, right about now it seems... oh, that was sloppy from red. Losing the Mangonel, oh my! Just at the crucial moment where it actually seemed like that he might be taking down the TC. Which is here again not happening. And yep, Mangonels are just getting killed one by one, even through all the conversions all the way around. Husbandry for Ovenka, that's interesting. And finally some good shots in here. And it really seems like there's a lot of converting going on at the bottom from the priests, from the blue player, and really this town center is not coming down anytime soon. And right about now it might, because we can see that Ovenka has switched into cavalry archers, which was the reason for the husbandry. And unfortunately this castle is coming in a bit too late, and even though that was a pretty good idea from red, yeah, it seems like that Ovenka will be saving his teammate in the end. And will be the MVP of the match, it seems like. Yeah, right now getting off absolutely everything in red. Just one last piece ready in here for conversion on his opponents. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it. And let's see if yeah, the siege workshop is going to be producing something extra. You can see that Yannick is also going for a stone. Probably hoping to go into a bit more offensive on his red opponent, who is right now switching into castle inside his own base. And he is also researching to Onager. Oh well. The wolf tagging along so far still. But we also have to have a look into Grey's base, who is down to 4 villagers and being basically totally annihilated, but still building at least few arbalests with his army. And where are the 4 guys? In here. Oh well. Building a monastery for a monk for the gold, and maybe going to be building something extra somewhere, but what? I don't know, but they could be discovered by all those rams from the yellow player. And yeah, you can see that yellow is just about now trying to locate anything that they could be killing, and he has successfully disrupted the castle, which is a pretty big bonus for him and his teammate Yannick. Yeah, goodbye Onager, nicely played, and will probably be allowing him to get back into the game a bit more. Just now at 53 villages at least, and hoping that he can kill his opponent just by himself right about now, but it almost seems like that CZs are attempting a bit of a team play in here, and Ovenka will quite probably be sticking to the left battlefield, as, yeah, he doesn't really have anything else to do with his grey opponent, who is at least trying to rebuild though, so he's still not out of the game altogether. Finally, he has at least finished with the wall in. Oh, well, yeah, those are Adriams that we have seen here in the middle of the map trying to push through the wall. And since it's going to be basically wide open, those cavalry archers are going to be coming in, and yep, with the wall being breached, we see the GGs and CZs are winning even in this very, very unusual arena game and winning the match overall against Redcon 2-0. Well, this was really weird. Yeah, Ovenka just now saying those scorpions weren't really a good idea. Yep, they definitely weren't for Yannick. Nicely played by the red player. Nice idea, and it almost worked out. Because Yannick seriously underestimated the situation and the stealing of the buildings, that was just too funny. That was just too funny indeed. So let's look at the achievements, where Ovenka is going to be the MVP, of course. But Red Bink ending with higher score than his opponent Yannick. So that's at least some partial victory, and Yannick was almost worse than Red 2007 even. Well, Yannick, you need to play better next time. Those cheeky strats can cost you a game if you underestimate your opponents. But really, Ovenka didn't leave anything to chance, and he was just owning, as was kinda expected from him. Well then, GG. So that has been the second match.